Hey guys, welcome back to RAM Reviews. Thank you for joining me for episode 4, where we talk about G2 versus Misfits, the EULCS Finals. I'm joined by my special guest, Burke God Gilius Demir,
Hey, dude.
recently qualified EULCS jungler with Giants. Thank you for joining me, my friend.
Thanks for having me, bro.
So, first off, congratulations. You made it into the LCS again, in
Yeah.
EU again. How does it feel? Feels good?
It feels really good, yeah. Like, I don't think anyone expected us to qualify, so it feels even better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people really did expect, but you proved whatever haters you had wrong, which is really
Yeah.
good. First things first, G2 versus Misfits. Trick versus Maxlor is the main matchup that we want to focus on. Before we get into that, let's talk about these two teams. Like, I think everybody kind of expected G2 to make the finals. You know, they've made every single final that they've been in the EULCS. That's like 4 in a row, and they've won all of them. But Misfits, like, did you really expect them coming into this final, like, to make it there?
Nah, not at all. But they kind of took the momentum with them in playoffs, and after they won versus Fnatic, I kind of like rated them like much higher.
What do you think was like the reasons that they won? Like, was there anything specific do you think that they did really well, or something that they worked on at
I
all?
think I think they were kind of lucky with the patch for Power of Evil, like that his main champs are like the best champs. And they had a pretty good read on the meta too. Their drafts were better than Fnatic's draft, as example.
Yeah, Fnatic's drafts were a bit LA giggle, but
Mm.
obviously we're not here to talk about Fnatic. We're here to talk about G2. And G2 versus Misfits actually ended in a 3-0 for G2. Now I expected G2 to win. I thought Misfits, yeah, they were good, but G2, it's like you can never really count them out. They always just come in the better team, the better plan, their players. Like, they have maybe like 3 godly players, Perks, Sven, and Mithy, who like always show up, and then Expect and Trick always backing them up. So tell me what you think about the jungle matchup. Trick, what do you think about Trick as a jungler?
So in the seasons before, he was really really good, always in the best of fives and playoffs and regular split. Coming into this regular split, I felt like he underperformed a bit, so I didn't rate him too high for the playoffs. While I thought Muxler was performing really well against Fnatic, but then um, after the final, my opinion changed a bit again. Like, I felt like Trick played really well. He had a much more efficient style than Muxler, and I think Trick really stepped it up for the finals.
Do you think that the meta suits Trick, like these heavy tanks? Do you think that suits him better than like Lee Kha'Zix Elise?
Well, I think he's fine on both matters, but like I felt like his Javan and Sejuani are actually pretty good, so I think it fits him pretty well. Yeah.
Like, the thing about Trick for me is that I could never get like a really good read on him because he was always successful in the Lee Kha'Zix Elise meta. He was always playing them pretty well, and he was always like getting early leads, doing his job. His Lee Sin is actually quite good. And then the tank meta comes around, and then yeah, okay. Perspective, his Lee Sin is good for EU standards. It's not
uh,
Gilius level, but let's.
I think his Lee is not that good. I think his Graves is really good.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about Graves. His Rengar was fine too, and
His
then
rank is good. Yeah.
and then it comes into this meta, which is like tank engaged junglers, Gragas, Jarvan, Sejuani, and he's playing them super well. Like, he knows how to engage, and I think that's like a huge problem with some junglers, like Pride Stalker, for example, who really shine in like Rengar, Kha'Zix, Graves meta. And then when Gragas, Jarvan, Sejuani meta came, where you have to engage, where you actually need to be the one being proactive, he couldn't do it. But Trick, he adapted super well, and I don't want to say like it scares me, but it like shows that this guy is just good at everything. So I
Yeah.
think like the jungle meta shifting is not gonna affect him. And what about Max Lore? So what would you say is like Max Lore's defining strength as a player?
His defining strength is overall his knowledge about the game. He's a pretty smart guy about the game, about macro, about what to do at what stage of the game. And what I felt like was holding him back, like some seasons ago when he was not considered good, is that he would have winning lanes, but then not abuse it for his advantage. He would not like drag his mid laner down to the bot lane to dive. He would not drag his mid laner top to dive. He would not get deep vision or steal enemy camps, enemy buffs. And I think he really stepped up at that part this season. Like he really found the aggressor in him, you know, like he is much more aggressive in the game when he has the winning lane, then he really abuses it. So that's why I feel like he evolved a lot as a player this season.
To be fair, he's also on a better team now. Like, you take a look at Misfits, like, I can't really name you one bad player. I think that all the players on Misfits are just, like, maybe top 5 in their role in EU right now. Alfari, Power of Evil, Hansama, Ignar, all super good players, I think. It's actually funny that you mentioned jungle mid, because that's actually one of my main criticisms this game. When you think of G2, you know, besides of the bot lane being like a super strong core of it, the original G2 was Perks. Perks was the shining star, he was the guy, and Trick has always been good playing around Perks. They're really good together. Yeah. But I think in this series, what we're gonna see is that Maxlore and Power of Evil could not compete with Trick and Perks. And Maxlore, I would say, was not able to utilize Power of Evil like he did in the last games. Do you think that this is just Maxlore's weakness, that he's not able to play around mid, or it was just Perks and Tricks just being way too good at it?
I think, first of all, they were like, it is first of all Perks and Trick being really good together. Like they play since a long time now together. They really know what the other guy needs from each, like, how do I say this?
Well, like, what, they know how to play around each other.
Yeah, they know how to play around each other, and they are really good players individually too. But I think mostly it was also the draft. As example, game 1, you will see that Trick has Jarvan and Perks has LeBlanc. So how are you gonna 2v2 against that mid lane, right? So you can't really blame that on Maxlore. He had Sejuani, they had Orianna mid lane, so obviously they will avoid to fight around mid lane, right? But yeah, overall I agree with you that they were kind of outmatched. Yeah.
I like that you brought up that. So I'm definitely gonna ask you, like, if you were playing on either side. Obviously, I know that you're the Jarvan. You're just ganking the Orianna 24/7, right?
Yeah.
What do you do if you're the Sejuani in that situation?
So if you're the Sejuani, so first of all, you always look on the mid lane, how the wave is positioned. If he needs a push out, you help him push out. You put 2 defensive wards down. You put defensive wards down around mid lane so he doesn't die to ganks. And yeah, you just need to like babysit your mid laner till you hit the mid game where your Orianna is outscaling the LeBlanc, and then you can like start team fighting, you know.
Okay. Well then, I think we should just get started. I need you to join the new sync tube. The other one bugged for me.
Yeah, I'm in it, I think.
No, I think you're here, Mr. New Scorpion. Okay. All right. Is it working for you now? You can see the VOD?
For me, it's working, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go to the draft first off. Okay, guys, let's get started. This is G2 versus Misfits, EULCS 2017 Summer Final, Game 1. And let's go to the draft. Because I think you mentioned something to me in the beginning of the draft. So, first things first, let's take a look at the bans. Tristana, Rakan, Gnar, pretty standard shit, right? This is like the main focus of this patch.
Yeah.
Kalista, Galio, Cassio. Now, what this shows to me is that the biggest... I think on this patch, Cassio and Lucian are the best mids. Like, if you like to play around priority, it's Cassio and Lucian. Cassio being the best because she can lane into every mid laner, and you can play her well. But the fact that she's better also into Lucian. Now, Cassio's gone. So, doesn't Lucian rise in priority? You think either of these teams would go for, like, an early pick Lucian? Or even Elise or Gragas to play the Lucian?
I don't know. I feel like Lucian is definitely the, like, priority pick right now. Like, if Cassio is banned, it means Lucian is the best mid laner. Because Cassio is the only counter to him. And I think Misfits is kind of putting the G2 on a... Like, they're forcing them to answer right now. Like, either you first pick Lucian and we get 2 power picks, or you don't first pick Lucian and we get it and we will have mid priority, you know?
So what's the power picks in your opinion right now? Because a lot of top laners and even junglers right now have such a high priority on Jarvan. Because Gnar is like the best top laner and then Jarvan's just like slightly below him. So do you think that Jarvan is really worth this first pick?
I think since Gnar is banned, it becomes a great flex pick, you know? He's great into every matchup in the jungle, and when Gnar is banned, I'm pretty sure he's also good into every matchup top lane. So yeah,
He has a few counters, but for the most part, he gets push. He pushes the lane against all matchups right now.
yeah, like it's a really really good first pick if Nara's banned. Yeah.
Okay, I like Zaya. I think Zaya's a good pick. It's probably the best AD carry when Tristana's not around.
And Kalista is also banned.
Yeah, Kalista is also banned. So they blinded Orianna. Here's where I think it got a little weird. So when I see Jarvan, my first thought is like I can't pick immobile champions because if it's jungle Jarvan, I get fucked mid. If it's top lane Jarvan, he'll just kill me in team fights, and I can't really play around it, right?
I mean, I feel like if like it's hard to say, right? If Misfits gives away the Orianna, then they have Jarvan Orianna, which is also a really good combo in team fights. And then Jarvan will enable the Orianna to go through the early game, and that is really scary when Orianna like can play really aggressive mid lane, you know, because Jarvan is the strongest early game jungler in the current patch.
You don't think that Corki or Lucian could be better picks here because that makes them pretty much ungankable mid to the Jarvan, and at the same time gives them a pretty good late game if they went Corki. He's arguably scales much better than Orianna in terms of damage.
Yeah, I think Corki could be fine, but you will definitely not have mid priority in the early game, and the enemy already has the Jarvan locked in, so the early game is going to be really, really rough if you pick Corki right now. So, I mean, I could kind of see them picking Lucian here, but the problem with Lucian is here, you will go into a really heavy AD comp, and your top laner is going to be limited with his champion pool. He's only going to be able to play Rumble,
or any AP tank,
Yeah, something AP heavy. So picking Lucian here is also bad. I think Orianna is actually the correct pick here.
Not even Syndra, because Syndra was open.
I think he's scared of some Syndra counters. Perks is ready. I'm pretty sure Perks plays a lot of Echo, so...
Yeah, Echo and Galio, both open, can do good into...
No, Galio is banned.
Oh, Galio was banned, yeah, so it is Echo. Yeah, Echo is pretty good. And I guess he doesn't give a shit too much about the Syndra-Orianna matchup, because Power of Evil likes to play that matchup as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually... It favors Orianna, I'm pretty sure.
Early on it does. Early on it does, and then it turns at level 5. Syndra gets the pressure back and the lane priority back.
Yeah, but after 6, it gets really scary for the Syndra. That's for sure.
So I like this rotation here from G2. I like Cho'Gath with Jarvan. You have the engage already because they're two immobiles, so Cho'Gath is enabled as a champion. And then Sivir. It's like Sven has always been such an insanely good Sivir player that I guess they really like it into Zaya.
I was quite confused about this. I didn't expect it, you know, but after the series, it made a lot of sense because Misfits has been playing really slow early games and they don't really abuse the bot lane hard. So Sven knew he could just get away with the Sivir pick, get a free farming lane, and then in the mid game they can take over the game. You know, Sivir scales really well.
The only thing I'm scared of with the Sivir pick is if Misfits took Alistar there into the Trundle, in which case the lane is really hard for Sivir, because Alistar can combo Sivir through the spell shield. She can never spell shield it. So if Misfits took Alistar there, it could have been really problematic for the lane. They'd been like Janna Morgana, and then you have to take Tahm Kench, in which case you have no bot priority, and then Alistar gets the roam. The big thing is here,
that's really true. Yeah, they should have gone Ali. I agree.
The thing is here with this Trundle pick, and since it's Misfits, now we know that this team likes to flex the Trundle. Trundle's good into Cho, and Trundle's also a good flex for them. And it's actually good into Sivir because the pillar stops her from walking in. So I actually think the Trundle pick is also good. It really just depends what they want. But I think they made a big mistake with this Tahm Kench ban. And I'll tell you why. Because I think now, since they get last pick support and they can play Trundle into Cho'Gath top, they should have banned mids. If I was them, I would have banned LeBlanc and Lucian. Because those are the only two champions that with Jarvan can really fuck the Orianna, or even Syndra instead of Lucian.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think they really made a big mistake, and I think they were really overconfident with their mid lane matchup because of this. And Power of Evil really suffered. They really had to play a lot around mid because of this.
I agree.
Yeah, they take Sejuani, I think is fine.
I mean, they just... What you could also think is, I think Perks has a wider champion pool than Miffy, just like because of the role. You know, mid lane has much more different picks than support. So maybe they thought, if we ban 2 mid laner of Perks, he will still go back to his core key or whatever. You know, so he will find one pick. Like you can't really outban him. So they probably thought if we outban Miffy, it's much more useful. But what really is weird is that in the end he gets Alistar, like his best champ, you know,
Yeah,
after he got target banned.
Alistar into Trundle is not the best matchup for Alistar. It's like decent for Trundle. You win the trades, but it's Smithy's Alistar. Like,
Yeah, it's Miffy's Alistar.
yeah,
It's not
I mean, I
someone
don't think
else's.
he gives a shit about the matchup. He has a Sivir in the mid late game. He's gonna get onto your backline, and you have immobile backline, and you give him Alistar. I didn't understand that. I also didn't like that they took Maokai into Cho. Now, Maokai is good against LeBlanc because it's hard for LeBlanc to jump in when there's a Maokai in the game. But is shit into Cho is not gonna do anything. It's just a farm lane, and Cho outscales Mao.
Yeah, I kind of I know where you come from, but I think it's fine. You know, like if if Misfits played the mid game a bit cleaner, it would have been fine because Maokai with is gonna free farm against Joe, and he's gonna be really useful in the mid game. It just depends on the execution of the team, you know.
Okay, if you were playing this game, which draft would you prefer?
Oh, definitely G2 draft. I feel it's much easier to play, and you have a strong early game, and then you have kind of mediocre mid game, right? The mid game doesn't look too strong.
If the block doesn't get fed, yeah, it's
actually he will get Gunblade. Yeah, their mid game is actually not bad, and then their late game is absolutely insane. Actually, like Sivir is gonna shred through everything with like Cho and Alistar CC. Yeah, I definitely prefer G2's draft.
Yeah, it's really clear that G2 is like the engage. They're the ones that's gonna engage this game, and then Misfits gonna play disengage. And it's all about how well Misfits can disengage and fight kiting back. That will determine the game. Okay, can you quickly just go and turn it to 2 times speed because we have to do it together. Otherwise, it will bug.
Yeah.
The little screw. Tell me when you're ready.
2.
Yeah,
like,
2 times.
I'm on. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, let's just skip ahead. Let's go into the game. Okay, did you want to watch the early game or early pathing?
Not really. There's nothing special. There's something I want to highlight about mid lane.
Okay.
So we will get there and I will tell you.
So Jarvan starting buffs. I like what Misfits do here. This is really good. Trundle level 1 is disgusting. You saw like they really hurt Zen. And the lane is now pretty hard. Level 2 gank. Power will use both sums.
So I think this is super huge. Like he could have. Can you pause?
Yeah.
I think he could have definitely played the gank better. Trick. They could have probably killed him, since the chain landed. But even though he doesn't die, this is super huge. Like the G2 has a stronger jungler, and like a much stronger jungler, and Power of Evil loses Summoner's minute 2. So the next 5 minutes are gonna be hell for him.
Yeah, he needs Sejuani to always be mid. Otherwise, he's really gonna get fucked.
And they're gonna lose 2v2 though. Like even if Seju is there. So what I really wished for in this game was that Perks plays the laning phase a bit smarter. Like that he freezes the wave a bit more. That they really abuse the Orianna. But you will see later that Perks is just gonna keep shoving into the tower, and Power of Evil is just gonna free farm without any summoner spells. So this is what I really didn't like about game 1 from G2.
Yeah, like if Perks was able to freeze it on his side of the lane, then Power of Evil could literally never step up alone. Yeah. The only times he could ever step up was if he pulled bot lane, and then that gives your bot lane free push. Because technically, Sven and Mithy are losing this lane, because it's not a favorable matchup for them.
I mean, here, wait. So if he just shoves this wave in right now into the tower, bases, the wave is gonna bounce back, right?
Yeah, and Power of Evil needs to base to match him.
Power of Evil is super doomed, man. They can just camp the Orianna, like they can just stay in a bush, and he's not gonna farm for 2 or 3 minutes. So I really didn't understand what Perks is doing here. Like he kept staying on lane, he didn't base, and he shoved it in really slowly. So they missed that opportunity.
Yeah.
Like
he's
trading,
yeah.
He's
he even fucked up the trade. You know, he queued a bit early. He didn't play this laning phase very good at all.
But I think what Perks is probably doing is he's waiting for an item gold. You know, he's farming up to get one item. I don't know.
The revolver. I think
revolver,
he wants the revolver. Yeah.
But I think it was a bad decision to do that.
Yeah.
Like here now, the wave is pushing into the tower. Power of Evil is not even behind in CS, and they kind of just not gave away their lead, but they could have abused it so much more. So
yeah, I mean, they're still. I mean, Misfits actually have a little bit of a gold lead from the jungle farm, but I think that's because the Jarvan spent a little extra time getting wards and farming, and I think this is the big thing. Like Max Slor comes into the lane and just pushes it with Power of Evil.
Yeah.
I mean, Perks trolls a bit here actually too.
Perks is doing huge mistakes. Like Misfit. Can you go back a bit?
Yeah.
Before Perks got chunked. Here they want to push out the wave, right? But they can't because Trick is around as well, and they lose really hard to V2 right now. But since Perks trolls, Power of Evil will be able to get the base off, and they will be able to push out.
Yeah, like he almost even died actually.
Yeah.
He was.
If he didn't do this, Power of Evil was in huge trouble. By the way.
Yeah, because they could not push the wave.
Yeah, they would have lost so many creeps. But now that Perks did a huge mistake, it's whatever.
Mithy does a good trade here. Like, this is really good by Mithy, and this is like also why I never want to give this guy Alistar ever. He has a good trade bot, and now like the lane is in a bad situation for Hansama. Because now Sivir Alistar get the first recall, and this lane is only really bad until first recall, you know? Like, until Sivir gets BF, because then it's just, both of these AD carries just wave clear at that point, and it's just a free lane. So, Misfits didn't really get to push their advantage that much.
Yeah,
that they had in the bot lane.
It's looking good, pretty good for G2, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
mid lane should have been like from the draft perspective, like G2 definitely has a stronger mid jungle duo and like the champions, and they really should have abused it much harder. Like
early game, they have the better 2v2.
They should have gotten a huge lead somewhere, either in the jungle or in the mid lane, but they didn't manage to do either. So yeah, this is pretty good for Misfits.
Yeah, they besides getting the double summoners, like now Power Evil has both sums again. He's down 10 CS, no big deal, right? Like
yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah, but look at Maxlor, he's legitimately just like babysitting Power Evil, and these chunk ganks, like, does he really lose anything by doing them? Because he's winning the lane for Power Evil to do them.
I don't feel like it's optimal as a jungler because he has so many camps up right now. He could have done them much earlier, but he needs to do that, you know. You cannot let Orianna alone against Jarvan and LeBlanc. Like he doesn't have cleanse. He will definitely die, you know.
Okay.
So
there comes the gank. Top Alfari plays it super good, by the way.
Yeah, he played this really well.
Now, when I think about these top lane picks, right? Cho Mao. Cho is the one that needs the ganks and to be ganked early. But since both junglers left it alone, I almost would never go to this lane gank post 6. I almost see no reason. Because Mao is never going to get low enough to execute with the feast, and you're just going to waste too much time. So I think this was a big mistake by Trick. Because look what it allows now Misfits to do. Maxlor is able to get wards in the jungle. Yeah, Trick will clear it, but he's preventing the fights.
Oh,
and
wow, okay.
yeah. So
I mean, you could also say that Trick was trying to get a TP advantage top lane. Like, if the gank went a bit better, like if Alfari didn't play it that well, they could have maybe chunked him, like gotten his flash, maybe gotten him low enough, so he will be forced to TP top lane, and then they will have a TP advantage. Maybe that's what he thought he could do.
I can understand that. So yeah, Perks goes for a trade when he knows that Sejuani is mid side. Like, he's playing really cocky.
Yeah, really cocky, yeah.
And he will get ulted and almost dies. He has to flash out.
He should have died there. He should have died there.
Power Evil misplayed. Power Evil really misplayed. But I mean, at this point, all the advantage that LeBlanc should have over Orianna is not there anymore. Orianna hits level 9. They chunk Trick out. It's whatever, you know, like Trick gets out. At this point, Orianna can actually start winning the lane against LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Which is a bit scary for G2 because this LeBlanc needed to be stronger at this point. Like, we're gonna hit 12 minutes. Sivir's gonna be completely useless until she hits like 2 or 3 items. And Orianna spikes really hard at Morello finish. LeBlanc needs Gunblade before Orianna gets Morello, I think, if G2 want to win team fights in the mid game.
I mean, yeah, but like, it is going really well for Misfits right now. Like, they got everything they want, right? They got their scaling picks into the mid game, and they are first on the map top lane. They got some chunk on the tower. They got some deep vision on top side. Like, it's looking really good for Misfits right now. They have the mid push also.
Their early mid has gone good, yeah. And I think this is really also good by Power of Evil. I wish more mids would do that. Just use your ult to poke. Because now LeBlanc has to play safe or TP back. In which case he gets an advantage no matter what. Yeah, I mean, just standard trades, but Mithy's playing this lane super good. Like, he
really knows when to combo in, you know. Not every support knows when to go in, like when's the right time, but Miffy is like perfection in that.
I also like that he went swiftness boots instead of mobility boots, because it's more important in team fights to have the constant move speed rather than a burst of move speed.
I mean, look at it. Also reduces slows against Orianna and
Sejuani and Trundle.
Yeah, with Trundle especially, it's really good too. Yeah.
Yeah, Mithy's. I didn't even think about that. Mithy is actually really smart.
Yeah, he is. And he's a really creative guy. Like he sees things others don't, like in a high pressure situation. Like he changes up a lot of stuff mid series. Like he's a really creative, smart guy.
Well, like because of what they did there, the pressure that they got top, they were able to get Rift Herald, which I mean G2 shouldn't have been able to do considering all that Misfits were having, right?
Yeah, can you go back? Like, what was Sejuani doing while the Herald was being taken?
So this was the setup, okay? Ali landed the combo, which chunked out Ignar and Hansama. So they pushed the lane because of that, and their 3 top side was Sejuani is clearing bot and handing off blue.
They know that they are doing blue, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chaya's chunked, so they're just giving it up. Okay, this goes back to the combo of Miffy. Yeah, you're right. This was really well played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually a pretty slow early game, but there's a lot. Yeah, Perks has to burn his flash again because Power of Evil forced ult. Like,
I mean, I would do the same if I was Misfits. I would just put a lot of pressure into Perks because Perks is the kind of player. He's like, if you don't gank him, if you don't show him that you're ready for his aggression, then he's gonna like keep being aggressive. Like he will really put you to your limit. Like he will force someone to commit. And Misfits is giving him a message like that they are there. So and he instantly has to burn his summoner. It's really good.
So what we're gonna see is the first skirmish. This one ends in a 1-for-1. Top side where everyone shows up. Big thing to note: Cho'Gath used his ult in a trade against Maokai. He literally just R'd him and walked away.
Okay.
So Cho doesn't have ult, Perks doesn't have flash. And Orianna is about to get ult, so let's just watch the rest of the skirmish. It started with Mithy comboing onto, I believe, Ignar, and Ignar running down this way.
Yeah, that Javan ult was not good.
Yeah.
Okay, now they're just kiting out. This is looking good for Misfits so far.
And TP this is TP from Perks.
Oh, Alfari, wait. Oh, that's... Wait. I lost overview.
Okay, let's go back. We can go back and play it slower if you want.
Yeah,
Let's go 1.5. Okay.
1.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ult was pretty shit. You know, he flashes out of it. Now
they also used too much on him. They also used ignite.
Yeah.
And like way too many cooldowns.
Okay, this is Maokai's TP right here. You see it behind them where the Orianna is?
Yeah, I see it.
Maokai has TP'd now, and now this is an X-Specs TP. Mm-hmm. So Maokai is already there when Expect channels his TP.
Yeah, I think Perks also TP'd quite late. Yeah. I think Perks TP'd way too late, actually.
Yeah.
Like if you... Yeah.
Okay, but the thing is here that since Misfits, I think, overcommitted on the chase, they do kill Mithy. No one is there to deal with Perks. And I just want you to watch Perks in the last part of this fight, because like he really does put a lot of pressure onto Misfits here.
He's playing it really well,
yeah. He almost kills Ignar too, and he gets out. And the Herald top.
Yeah, I don't know about this Herald. I don't like it too much. Was a kind of panic Herald.
I guess Trick wanted them to chase Perks more, because then they would be able to use his Herald much better.
Right, the wave bot lane is looking good for G2, right? It's stacked towards them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is actually in the end pretty good for G2.
Right,
they will get a huge wave bot lane.
For Sivir too. Sven goes to collect it, so that gets Sivir to her spike much faster. Let's go back to 2 times.
Oh, 2 times? Alright.
Yeah.
Got it now.
Even even though Mithy died, I think he played this fight pretty good. He landed two 3-man combos during this fight.
So what's interesting here is that Misfits didn't match them in the bot side. They just kept pushing top.
Yeah.
And but this is not bad actually. Misfits had a tempo advantage, which allowed them to roam mid lane first.
This is another example of Perks disrespecting people, because they just pushed top and they were seen walking into the jungle. It's pretty obvious where they're gonna go. This goes back to lane swap meta, where after you push the lane, you would rotate to mid. If their mid laner is overextended, you kill them. I mean, Perks isn't really overextended, but look where he is. He goes for a trade, and he's getting zoned away by the ball, and he just dies.
Yeah,
he gets ulted and he just dies.
I mean, the wave was already dead. That was a big mistake, yeah. But now Miffy plays this so well.
Yeah, he actually manages to kill Alfari, and Sven is bot.
But so, they lose their mid tower. I think this was huge for Misfits.
Yeah.
Overall, Misfits got really ahead out of this.
I remember our conversations about mid turret. Even though Sven got the inner turret bot, mid turret is everything. So now, yes, they do lose control over their bot side for some part. Misfits now have total top side control, and Baron's up. They can push both top and mid all the way in, and that jungle is gonna be theirs completely. So it's really up to Misfits. The gold is even, but Misfits can do a lot more than G2, I think, in setting up plays from this moment on.
Yeah. I mean, they are gonna initiate the 1-3-1, which gives the map advantage definitely to G2, because since the bot lane is gonna be in the mid lane, they're gonna push it out all the way, and then they can just walk into the topside jungle. I think the lane assignment definitely favors G2 here. But I also think it goes back to the team comp. Orianna, you don't really want Orianna on the side lane against LeBlanc, so Orianna is forced to stay mid lane, which is pretty bad for Misfits overall.
It's not optimal for what Misfits want to do.
Yeah, look, now, since they are in the mid lane, the bot lane, they can just sweep through the whole jungle here, and they can instantly engage. Yeah. They're just always first on the play.
Yeah. It's just a slow team fight. They force Orianna flash using the Jarvan ult, but no one really dies. I think big thing here is that Mithy's flash is going to be up quite soon, which is gonna mean a lot in the next fight, because Orianna no flash, but yeah, they're just gonna chase expect down. They force Max Flora out. This is just
It's a huge team fight, yeah.
Barbiel dies because he had no flash. Mithy got the combo on him.
Yeah, I don't think they should be fighting them right now. I think G2 is much stronger right now. They have a Gunblade on LeBlanc. They have a static shift finished on Sivir. Sivir actually hurts as well now, so. They use too many cooldowns on Expect here. They use their Maokai W, their Trundle Pillar on Cho'Gath, so that's why they lose the fight. And now it's gonna be the setup around Nash for both teams. Whoever gets this first Nash is gonna win the game, so both teams are gonna put their whole vision, pink wards, sweepers out around the Nash area.
Does LeBlanc meet Maokai right now, you think? Does LeBlanc meet Maokai in a side lane with Void Staff?
I mean, it's not really they don't really damage each other. But I think what's more important right now is just the lane setup. G2 again has the 1-3-1 going. Sivir is in the mid lane, which allows them to get the dragon, which will allow them to get the Nash vision. Orianna is still stuck around mid lane. This is just a huge problem for Misfits. Shaya is forced to be on top lane, to farm.
We talked about losing mid lane as a LeBlanc. It's bad, but it's not nowhere near as bad as if you're Orianna and you lose your mid lane, because you lose the stability in the lane. And now, because they can't answer LeBlanc in a side lane, and they can't really protect the mid lane, G2 got control. LeBlanc took a top turret, and they got Infernal Drake at the same time. G2 control the map now, and Misfits cannot really respond, because they have a disengage comp, and they're behind. Their only real engage is Sejuani. And yeah, it's a decent engage, but Maokai didn't go for Righteous Glory, so he's not even engaged at all right now.
I mean, it's looking like it's a slim gold lead right now, but the map pressure is huge right now, the difference, G2 is much more ahead than the gold lead shows. Misfits will always need to react right now. G2 is always first on the play on whatever they do.
Can Misfits come back in some way? Do you think there's a way? Oh, there's a fight going on?
I mean, if G2 plays it well, of course they can come back. But G2 plays it really flawless.
Mithy separates the team. He puts Ignar in a situation where he's really far away from his team, and Exect has to flash away. And this is what I also love. Like when you're Cho'Gath and your team gets ahead, you pretty much can never lose Baron. I think even Alfari will just die here. Yeah, Mithy fucking comes from the flank.
Yeah, they just have full vision in that area because of their control map-wise. Like, they can pick whatever the fight they want, G2. Like, Misfits can only react, G2 picks their fights. So, this is the big difference. If you're fighting in an area where you have full vision, you're most likely going to win the fight.
And I think Perks is doing a lot as well. Like, you saw he was always, like, standing in fog over walls, and he chunked, like... He chunked, I think, Power of Evil or something. Then he went back. Like 10 seconds later, he chunked Ignar. So he's always like staying away from where people can kill him, and he's just getting the damage. Like over here, he gets Alfari to jump on him, and then look at where Alfari is in comparison to everyone. Mithy is like in a flank. They land the Rupture, and Alfari will just die here.
So I want you to go back a bit to the Nash setup. So some Twitch chat memers will probably think, why did Ignar and Alfari face check, right? So can you go back a bit?
Wait, to Ignar's death?
Yeah. Okay, look, pause now, pause. Go back a bit to show the Nash vision, like where the Nash is.
You can't really see it, but you can see like it's all blue. Yeah. It's all blue wards.
So right now they have a pink ward inside of the Nash pit. So Misfits is getting really nervous because they don't see what's happening around Nash. G2 has the Cho'Gath. They could rush down the Nash. They could execute it with the ulti of Cho. And if the Nash is gone, this game is pretty much over, right? They're going to lose every single tower. So Misfits is really under pressure right now. They're really sweating and hoping that G2 is not doing Nash. So they're forced to face check right now. And if they are forced to face check, this means G2 is getting exactly the fights they want. And this is exactly what happened.
It's like you can't leave the Nash alone, because if Nash gets below half, G2 can always just make the call to burn it, and Choke secures it with Smite, with Feast, and Alistar just combos people away, and like even if Mithy dies for 4 Nashes, it's worth, right?
Especially on blue side, yeah, definitely. Alistar is really good in that situations, but especially around if you're blue side, the setup around Nash is much easier because you can just put that pink board down inside of the Nash pit, and the enemy is completely blind, and they're always forced to face check. On if you're red side, it's a bit different, you know.
Yeah. So we'll just see here. Ignar just gets caught out a little bit. He walks into Mithy, and actually they engage onto Mithy, and that's how Ignar dies.
Yeah, they have no other choice. Yeah. They have to do something right now. Yeah. But they should be a bit more patient. They should maybe walk in together instead of one by one. Yeah, now Alfari is going to get caught. Look, they're really, really nervous right now. Double blue up into the Nash pit because they think they're doing Nash. Like, they're just... Oh, that Javan combo. That was not good. Yeah, I mean, the vision and the lane assignment by G2 is just really good. And the vision control. Like, Misfits has no really chance in this mid game.
So all G2 needs to do is just keep doing the exact same thing over and over again. Like exactly. 1-3-1 into deep vision, into like pick, bait Baron, and if Misfits don't respond, they just take the Baron. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. They have, yeah, it's really hard for Misfits.
So can Misfits really do anything to come back from this game? Like if you're Misfits right now, what do you do?
They should face check S5 and just fucking fight for their lives. Like right now, they should not walk through the jungle though. That's a big mistake. They should walk through mid lane, into the jungle together, sweep out the vision, now exactly what they're doing right now. This is the correct play. Go through mid lane, sweep out the vision, get the pink wards, and force it 5v5. That's the only chance for them to come back.
Here's the 5v5.
Yeah.
Perks gets onto the back line, and holy shit, man.
Wow.
He played that so good. No one dies, but Orianna and Xayah both have no sums now. All because of what Perks did.
Also, all ultis are burnt by Misfits. They're pretty doomed now. Like G2 is gonna get Nash now. Like they're gonna force something around Nash now.
If you would say which team is more dependent around ultimates, I would definitely say Misfits rely more on their ultimates to win fights because it's like more game breaking.
Definitely Misfits, yeah. G2 can fight without ultis. They have good champs for that. But right now, they are. I don't like what they're doing right now. They should just clear the pink inside of Nash and then just go back to their setup. Shire, yeah, they should really get that pink. Yeah, okay, Perks is getting it now. Look, now this pink is removed. Misfits is completely blind and they're really nervous. They instantly put a new pink ward. Do you see? Like,
Yeah.
they are really under pressure right now. G2 is playing it really well around Nash. Now they're walking through mid lane. This is good. Now they should walk into the jungle together.
Yeah, they just say fuck the side lanes, right? They have to go through mid.
Yeah, it's a really doomed situation for Misfits. Like, they're really on a timer right now. If they don't do this 5v5 ARAM mid right now, they're gonna lose Nash. So they're really nervous right now.
But they've been able to keep the gold lead the same for like the last 10 minutes almost, which is good, I guess.
They're farming well, but I mean, pressure wise on the map, it's not looking too juicy for them.
Too juicy. Fucking animal. Yeah, but it's just a slow roll, I guess. G2 have all the pressure, and like this is a team that's always been like really good at playing around this type of like this style, slow, and they'll just like choke you out. They're gonna get their third Drake, which means that Elder Drake is gonna be like a pretty big win condition for them at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we'll just eat it.
But I'm not sure if it was worth it to take Drake to give up all your pink wards around Nash here. They will lose all their pinks.
They can just go back and put some more though.
Yeah. Yeah, Miffy has 3 pink wards. I guess he doesn't really care. Okay, now they should sweep all the wards and put another new pink ward into the Nash pit. It's exactly what he's gonna do now, I think. Yeah, Miffy is controlling the vision really well.
I like
that. They're abusing their double TP right now. Like, if you have double TP, you can just go on side lane like this in the late game, kill the enemy top laner. Because you have double TP, you can just TP to the Nash after.
And like, look at what Trick is doing. Like,
it's huge. This is really played. Yeah.
They don't even want to fight the Baron, right? They don't want. They just take inhib and then they go back.
Yeah, this is really insane macro by G2. Send their double TP bot, get the inhib, while your team is fighting slowly to prevent the enemies from Nash. They didn't even need to use their TP. Like, this is super huge.
Perks channeled his TP and then stopped it when he realized that there was no need. But it's good because they keep X-Facts, which is all that really matters.
Yeah. But now, obviously, they can't do the play they just did again. Because LeBlanc has no TP anymore.
Well, they can. Just choke TPs. And if Cho's in the area, you can't do Baron.
Yeah, but it's going to be 4v5. I think if Perks kept his TP, it would have been pretty huge.
I was just looking at items as well. Sivir is like a full item ahead on Hansama.
Yeah, holy moly.
So Sivir is going to do much more damage. In terms of like AoE, Orianna's arguably going to do maybe a bit more damage than LeBlanc, but LeBlanc is just as strong in single target burst. So Orianna and LeBlanc would say are even, and the difference in Sivir and Xayah is disgusting. And look, Maxtor gets chunked out.
I mean, just look at this. The vision control is just too good by G2. Misfits is forced to do something, and they just run into G2's vision, and they can't win the fight here.
This fight is pretty. This game is over at this point.
I mean, G2's macro is they're just super smart around like the Nash area. This comes from the experience they have together, and from the like individual players that are really smart in the team. Like Miffy is really, really smart about vision and how to set up objectives.
So, let's just quickly highlight this game because we're going to take a short break in between this one and the next one. So, let's just highlight it for the viewers. G2 had the stronger 2v2 mid lane, mid jungle. Yeah. But we both agreed that they didn't really do much with it. Like, they could have done a lot more, or maybe they just weren't so successful in whatever they did.
Yeah, they should have gotten a bigger lead with the champions they got in that draft, but I was pretty surprised that they still got out ahead in the mid game, even though they didn't abuse their early lead. You know, like I thought the Orianna and Sejuani are gonna scale much better into the mid game and then do more on team fights, but I guess I was wrong.
I think a big thing was again the Alistar, like Miffy, like even though Sejuani is doing more than Jarvan in team fights for the most part. The Alistar just did a lot. Like, Miffy really is the one that set up a lot of their picks. His combo got Power of Evil in the mid-game, like, after they burnt his flash. So, I mean, their drafting strategy, they banned, like, 4 supports and they didn't ban Alistar.
Yeah,
Like,
that is a big mistake. Yeah,
and not
I
even
agree.
that, they banned the Alistar counters. Tahm Kench, Morgana, Thresh is like a soft counter. Um, and they didn't even want to pick it into Sivir, which is like the best support to play into Sivir is like Karma and Alistar. And the reason is Karma, if you W the Sivir, she can't spell shield because the W does 3 points of damage. Three instances, so it takes the damage, then she gets rooted. And Alistar can combo her. And they didn't want to pick Alistar. Alistar Zaya is like the most OP lane. We saw it like all throughout the last few weeks. Almost as OP as Zaya Rakan. So I was really confused that they didn't want to play Alistar. Because Ignar is good on it, you know?
Yeah, he's a really good Alistar. Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely pretty weird because let's say you have the LeBlanc yourself, right?
Yeah.
Then you maybe want to ban the Tahm Kench because Tahm Kench is good into it. But if you have the Orianna, then you like to play into Tahm Kench, no?
Yeah, Tahm Kench doesn't really do anything to Orianna.
Yeah, so I don't really understand why they have so much AoE. They have Shaya, they have Orianna, they have Sejuani. Why the hell are you banning Tahm Kench? But yeah, they did a mistake there, definitely.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break, about 10 minutes, and then we're going to get on with game 3 of G2 versus Misfits. Thanks, guys, for coming, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, welcome back to RAM Reviews episode 4 with superstar German jungler god Gilius as my guest. How are you doing, Gilius?
I'm doing great, bro.
Okay, tell me something. I need to know. Is it Gilius or is it Gilius?
Not sure. You can say it however you want.
All right, let's just go god Gilius then.
Yeah, it's fine.
So we took a look at game 1 of Misfits G2. I would say that for the most part, even though the early was done quite good by Misfits, G2 overall proved that they were just the superior team. I mean, the series ends up actually being a 3-0. Spoilers, Kappa. But this last game, in my opinion, is really quite interesting. So let's just get into that. Especially because I think the draft was still slightly weird. First off, this vote is illegal as hell. 66% of people thought Misfits would win.
Yeah, I mean, everyone hates G2, so.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to like G2 sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go through the draft slowly. Starting now. Okay, first things first. Bans are relatively the same. There's a Jarvan ban, Kalista ban, Cho'Gath first pick, and again, really heavy priority on the Orianna. But this time, Misfits take away Mithy's Alistar. Here's my issue with it taking it here, is they get countered with the Morgana. And I think that Morgana, depending on the AD carry that you play, is actually quite good into Alistar. But overall, I think that the draft from G2 here is already quite solid. You have a good top laner with no real counters available. Good engage from the jungle. They favored the Gragas because Jarvan was banned. Isn't Sejuani the better blind than Gragas? Because Sejuani is good into Gragas, or is it just like 50-50?
I think Sejuani is the better blind, yeah. I'm not. Maybe they thought Maxlor Sejuani was not that good, so maybe that's why they don't feel like they should pick it away. But maybe also they think that. No, actually, I don't. It doesn't. It really make sense because if they don't want, like, they should want the enemy team to have Gragas because they have Morgana themselves. You know, Gragas is really bad into Morgana. Like, I don't really understand why they don't take the Sejuani themselves, but yeah.
Okay, so they will just go for these picks.
Yeah.
Bans come out. Corki ban. I mean, I think Corki's fine. Is good into Orianna, and I like that they started banning out mid laners as well. Like, not unlike what they did last time. The Jax ban, because Jax is good into Cho. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, is it really? I don't know. I don't like it too much. But
Some people would consider it a good matchup, and Jax
Yeah.
definitely can win the split push. They banned LeBlanc. I don't think that they actually need to ban LeBlanc here, and here's why. I see Gragas Cho. I instantly think Lucian. Super OP, because you've got two good frontliners with percentage and true damage, and they do magic damage. So I really think that Lucian was the pick that Perks was looking at here. Not
Definitely,
LeBlanc
because
or Corki.
with LeBlanc, it would be too AP heavy too. Like, the LeBlanc would do no damage in the mid game because they would stack MR. So, yeah, I don't really understand this either.
Renekton's interesting. I mean, it's considered a good lane against Cho, and it wins early, and it gives them a good top lane 2v2. I mean, for the most part, I think it's fine. It just depends what they wanted from the top lane. Shen could have also been quite good. It's still open. Zen is trolling Hansama with the Draven lock-in, but he just takes the Cog. And it makes a lot of sense why they took Cog when they lock in the Lucian, because now they really have a good split of AD and AP damage. It's really hard to itemize against G2, because if you itemize armor, Cog is going to wreck you. And Gragas is gonna wreck you. If you itemize MR, Lucian's gonna wreck you. If you itemize HP to counter the true damage, Cog and Lucian are gonna wreck you. So it is a really difficult itemization. Hansama takes Draven.
I don't know. I feel like they are so outdrafted right now. Like, if G2 survives the early game, which they are probably gonna do with a Lucian mid lane, that has a lot of pressure to make up for the weaker lanes on the side lanes. They will absolutely crush them with like 2 items. When this Kog'Maw hits Guinzo and Morgana has Ardens, yeah, you can say goodbye to your front line. So I feel like, judging from both drafts in the end, Misfits has to finish the game really quickly, get a lead early, get the first Nash, and then play from there. While G2 should like try to survive the early game, and then when Kog'Maw hits his item spikes, they should really team fight.
Do you think Draven is a legit pick here, or just something they said? This is game 3. Let's do something crazy.
I think it is a good pick in this situation because the enemy also has Morgana. I think Draven is really good into Morgana. No,
I mean, Morgana doesn't do shit against Draven. It's really hard to land the binding on him.
I mean, they should win this 2v2 really hard, the Misfits bot lane, yeah.
And they actually also win top. It's renekton into Cho.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, they also have the stronger early game junglers, so Misfits has the tools to win the early game, but G2 is really good at just going even, so...
Okay,
yeah.
Let's hit that 2x speed button and let's go through this game.
Wait, let me do it. Oh. Alright, I got it. Let's go.
Okay, right off the bat, doesn't seem like anyone's doing anything crazy. Sejuani will start probably her Wraiths, Raptors, because she'll get a leash from the Orianna. Gragas actually puts the wards, so I think Maxlor got scared of the Lucian Q. So Maxlor will actually start red buff. Oh no, he will actually do Raptors. And Trick is gonna start blue.
Yeah, he wants to protect his bot lane from the Alistar cheese gank, I think.
And Sejuani starts her own blue as well.
The thing is,
yeah,
the Cho'Gath is gonna be pushed into the tower top and just farm on the tower, so Trick doesn't need to start bot side to cover him. So he just plays for his bot side.
And Sejuani wants to play for Renekton, so he starts on blue, which makes sense.
And he's just gonna waste his time though. Like this Cho'Gath is gonna be under tower, I suppose.
Doesn't look like it actually. The lane is in the middle of the lane right now. But
actually,
yeah, Cho should actually let this lane push, but Alphari is doing a pretty good job of controlling. And look at the ward that also Expect put.
Oh, really good, yeah.
Really smart by him. So Sejuani will just take Scuttle and G2 do a really good job of tracking. See that ward that you saw there? Perks actually placed it, and Trick gets spotted on the ward himself. But he pressures this Draven Alistar so that they can't really like bully the lane, right? So I think that the early pathing definitely favors G2 a lot, and I mean Expect is playing this lane so pussy just because that's how he has to play it.
Yeah,
you know he knows that if he doesn't, he's gonna die, and I think this is.
That was a horrible trade for Perks.
Yeah, that was actually really bad.
Yeah.
And Tarhi will have some advantage in this lane until Trick comes in. He flash E's.
He used heal as well.
So Barvivol is again. We're in the same situation as game 1, right? Where Barvivol's on Orianna in a matchup that the Orianna gets pushed in early or like fought against early, and he's got no sums. I want to see Trick do more here because there's a lot that he can do for this Lucian, I think.
But not anymore, because Gragas has one shot in the early game, that's his flash, and he just used it. I would have hoped for him to not use his flash there, maybe played a bit more patient, just get the enemy flash out, not use your own, but yeah. Because Gragas is like, he has a really big power hole, like level 4 or 5, when he has no flash, he can't really do anything.
I would like to think as well that Trick is just going to supplement the lane with wards, and the fact that Perks has the summoner advantage on Orianna is going to be enough, but Maxlor is going to do the same thing that he was doing in game 1, where he's going to sit around mid. Here's what I don't like. Barville's going to go for Roa, Nasher's Tooth build. What do you think about this build?
I think it's a good build versus Lucian. Both of these items are really good with Lucian just in dueling and laning, so... Like, if this Lucian goes on side lane and Orianna goes side lane, like, Orianna can contest him in the side lane really easily with this build. I really like it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But, like, as we expected, Alphari is winning top. Pario's actually winning mid in terms of CS, even though his sums are burnt. And I guess that's because he doesn't have to fear the Gragas anymore because there's no flash, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Lucian got the push out. I don't feel like anyone has an advantage mid lane right now. It's quite even.
Somehow Mithy and Sven are actually contesting the 2v2 bot.
Actually, I take that back. Holy shit, that CS lead in the mid lane is growing. Yeah, I don't know. Perks did a lot of mistakes already this game.
And like Expect is getting really bullied. Actually, look what Brix is doing. Oh, he even gets a
Oh,
kill here. Actually,
yeah, holy shit, that was really insane.
yeah. But the thing is that what Brix did is that it's the second time he actually did this. He rotated top to protect expect from the dive. So he's actually maybe giving up leads. Oh, there's the E flash.
Yeah,
Parville
he's
gets knocked in.
giving up farm, so his top laner is fine.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty good.
Holy, Ignore actually gets that kill. Yeah, they try to fight mid and Trick. I think they committed a bit too hard.
But this is exactly how the early game should look for for Misfits. They have an early gold lead. Now they're diving mid lane. This is exactly what they need to win this game. It's looking really good for them. Now they just need to convert this lead into towers and then yeah, get the dragons.
Where would you go to get the first turret? Like, where is the if you're now Misfits, you're Max Lore. Where are you gonna try to pull Ignore to get the first turret?
I mean, you should probably get it in the mid lane. Since Orianna is kind of winning against Lucian right now.
Did you see Parvival's sidestep there? Jesus Christ, dopamine is insane this game. No, Parvival's playing this game quite good. Quite good
Yeah,
in lane,
he's playing well, yeah. Max Loss also helping him a lot. They're doing well. But yeah, G2 just has to survive right now. Kog'Maw is super useless in these stages of the game, so they're just gonna need to farm it up. And Misfits really need to pull the trigger in the next 10 minutes. They need to get advantages.
Yeah, because they do get really hard outscaled this game.
Yeah,
and like we talked about as well before, the itemization is complicated for them. There's no real like easy itemization they could go that makes it easy to tank for them.
I mean, if you could somehow catch the Kog'Maw in teamfights, I would say fine. But the enemy team has Morgana, and it's not the random Morgana, it's Miffy. So it's gonna be really hard to catch this Kog'Maw in the late game. So they really get hard outscaled, yeah.
Nice blue invade. Nice cask from Trick.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah. But I like it. I definitely like Misfits are. They have their eyes on not slowing this game down, speeding it up and denying as many resources as they can from G2. Because while this Orianna build, like you said, is good into Lucian, it's slow. So he had to go for a 1L, but Tario was actually going to take his mid turret alone.
Yeah, this is huge, man. It's solo gold also. Holy shit. Yeah, this Orianna is going like he's really really fat right now. Now they're trying to kill Cho. I don't know. The Misfits playing it really well. They're all over the place on the whole map. While Draven is farming solo bot lane, this is really good for them.
Yeah, Draven hit the Death's Dance, which means now like not only does he win every trade bot, he's also really hard to just kill because you can't one shot him anymore.
I really don't like this build though. I don't know.
What would you prefer?
I would wish for like a IE build somewhere in his item build, like IE rapid fire Draven, where he legit like gives one rapid fire ranged auto attack and it half helps you know. But I really don't like this build, but maybe it's just me.
It's probably better to deal with a Cog because then Cog can't like completely blow you up with like 2 seconds of Ginzu.
Mm-hmm.
He's shooting the ult. I guess he was aiming for bot lane and it got interrupted. Yeah, Max trolls a bit
they're
here.
catching Misfit. Yeah, this is the mistakes. They cannot. No, this cannot happen for Misfits. This is really bad. Like they should just play around their Draven right now. He's pushing top. They have a huge tempo advantage, and they are fighting on their weak side. Yeah, if you have a snowballing comp like that, this is the last thing you want. You don't want to die like that, you know, in the mid game.
Big thing as well. Lucian got a kill and Expect got a kill. Now Expect getting a kill might not seem like much, but the thing is that the Cho Renekton wins for a majority of the game. If he goes Blade, he actually wins for the most part. But now Cho is equal to Renekton because the kill brought the gold equal, and Cho is always going to do more than Renekton in team fights. Correct?
Yeah, I agree. And the itemization, like he has Tabis and what is that? The West called?
The Bramble Vest, the one that does.
Yeah, it's really good to hold split push. So.
Oh man, Perks almost dies and they get Herald mid. Yeah, this is like weird. Misfits, they're playing really aggressive, and that was nice by Ignar. Yeah, they will kill Expect.
They need to pull the trigger. They're doing exactly the correct thing. Yeah. They're getting another blue buff. This is really good.
Something that I also want to say that I realize now rewatching this series. The series was a 3-0, but Misfits are not playing like a team that got 3-0 stomped. You know, like they actually are contesting G2 in a lot of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they have an early game comp, though. It's hard to say, right?
Yeah, but I've seen
That-
teams with the early games comp do nothing in the early game. In LCS too, right? So
I don't know. I feel G2 would have lost against a better team, like against a Korean team with a snowballing comp. They would have gotten crushed this game with the mistakes Perks was doing in the early game. But yeah, Misfits just did some mistakes in the mid game, I guess. Like every little kill that G2 gets in the mid game where Misfits is fucking up is so huge for them to solo out this game. And now the Kog'Maw actually has Ginzo, and he's gonna wait. They don't have Ardent yet. When Ardent is finished, this Kog'Maw is gonna hurt, man.
I think he's going Wit's End now, no? And they're gonna dive Expect.
Yeah, he's going with center.
I mean, they do a lot of damage. And Alphari is actually also going for the Blade of the Ruined King. I like this build a lot. Blade and Cleaver synergize so well together against Cho. And like Cho, if you get a Fury W on him, he actually loses like a third or a fourth of his health just because of that damage. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah, but in team fights, it's a really weak build.
Yeah, but
right?
but the thing is, like, they're gonna lose team fights late game anyway, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So if Alphari can be a 1v1 king, I don't know if he can kill Lucian. I'm just saying, but if he can win in the side lane, it's good for G2 for Misfits.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I don't know. I really don't agree with this Draven build. I really don't like it.
Kog has 2 items. Orianna finished her Nashor's Tooth. Oh, this was a big thing. Expect TPs from behind and forces Hansama out. And here's the big thing, right? Look at this, alright? I will just go back. Okay? Just look at the setup. So the TP's coming in. Ferx is culling them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, it paused for me. Okay, let's go back to this. Yeah. They set this up. Hansama has to flash away from the Cho, and they will go after Ignar. Now, Alphari TPs into the backline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look what happens. Perks splits off away from his team. Perks
Yeah,
split off away from
that
his
was not
team.
good. Yeah.
But Alphari's alone, because now everyone's like, kill Perks, Allah! You know, let's kill this Perks. And yeah, they'll kill him. But Sejuani gets the kill, not even Draven. But Alphari dies. So 1 for 1 is good for G2, right? Like, this is good for G2, right?
This is really good for G2.
So,
they're also getting free farm on Kog'Maw right now, mid.
So
like,
in a way, what Perks did was actually good. Yeah, dying is never good, but it ended up being fine. And they will actually get this Drake too.
I really don't agree with the decision making of Misfits. Like, they're pushing way too far up here. Yeah,
they just left Alphari to die alone.
Alphari also has a paper build, so like they should not look for these TP plays. He should stay on the side lane.
Here they kill Perks. Hansama gets that kill too. So he gets a double kill too, which is huge. I think he got like 1,300 extra gold from the kill on Perks.
Yeah, this is really massive. Now look, can you go back to the gold lead before the fight and after?
Yeah. So
like look at the spike on gold lead.
Wait, I wanna there. How much fucking gold Max Lord just got? What Hansama just got? The gold lead is now okay. Here's the gold now. Let's see after Alphari tilts. Yeah. Okay, it's like what 2K?
2K, yeah.
Yeah, 2K. Play this out. Alphari, Hansama cashes it in. You know, cashes in the big fat check.
It was 1,800, I think. Yeah. The gold lead.
Jesus Christ! And now it's almost 5K gold lead.
Yeah, it's really massive what happened here. Yeah, this is what they needed. Now Hansa's gonna buy a BF spot, I suppose.
I think he gets more than a BF. I think he actually completes a full Last Whisper.
Yeah,
which is. Again, I don't like that. I don't like the Last Whisper. I think he needed IE. And the thing is, like, Hansama, he has, like, this fetish for Last Whisper. Because in the last times that I was watching with Cooves, we were watching the Fnatic series, he was building Last Whisper third against a team with no armor. Like, but I think this Last Whisper can be good here because of the Gragas and Cho being heavy on health.
Yeah, I think this last whisper is fine, like to a certain extent. Like I understand it a bit, but still the IE would do so much more. You
Yeah,
have to
because
rapid fire. What your crit damage is gonna get increased. One fucking rapid fire crit is really gonna hurt. You know.
I think IE was definitely the better choice, but he ends up going Last Whisper. I mean, he's got a full item advantage over Cog. The only problem is it doesn't really help him to deal more damage to the Cog, which can be a problem, but he's gonna destroy these tanks now.
Yeah, it's a big issue. I don't like it.
Cog has
dude, it's like if Draven went IE here through the fucking Black Shield, the Black Shield's not gonna do shit. The Draven is just gonna one shot the Kog'Maw. He has 0 armor.
yeah, close to it actually, really close to a one shot.
I don't understand this item build. It's actually pretty horrible by Hans, the decision making. But yeah, now they're good to go. Like it's not like Hans is super weak. Like he has a Last Whisper now.
I mean,
he has a red buff.
What I can see is possible is that they think that they're never gonna get to the backline, but Alistar can zone their backline while they kill Cho, right? So if they kill Cho faster, then the team kills Alistar, then maybe they win team fights. Maybe that's what they're thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could
Yeah,
be.
I guess.
Alfari has Blade now, so he actually wins side lane against Cho. I think he loses to Lucian because Lucian has 2 items as well, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know.
I don't know. Now, yeah, say it again. Say.
I don't really know if Renekton really beats Lucian without Tabby. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, probably not. He's just gonna get kited. But I think what's huge, like what Misfits needs to do now is just bait the Nash, like get the good vision control, choke G2 out, and don't do what you're doing right now. They're just starting Nash. They have no patience. Oh yeah, I really don't like this. Okay, now the team fight's breaking out. I think Sven is gonna destroy everyone. Look at Sven. Watch Sven.
Yeah, Sven doing so much damage.
Oh
my god.
Yeah,
with the Hurricane too.
And they have Ardent as well. This can we watch that fight a bit slower?
Yeah, let's watch that.
High, Sven.
Let's watch this from this point on. Let's do 1.25.
1.25, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's not playing. Unlucky. We bugged it. GG.
Oh really?
No, it's fine.
Can you go back?
One sec.
Should I try to go back?
Yeah, try to go back as well.
Are you coming with me when I go back?
No, I don't think so. Maybe we just need to keep trying until it works. That's unlucky. We may have to remake the room, actually.
Yeah, remake the room. That's fine.
EU production. Yeah, whatever. Let me just pull this up here. Okay.
Yeah, just send me the link.
No problem. But yeah, guys, it's the EU production. But unfortunately, there isn't really a better program than Sync Video. So unless I fly Gilius over here, it's the only real way that we can watch it together. So just bear with us for a minute. We'll begin the show again very shortly. We'll take 2 seconds. Okay, are you with me on the same time now?
34 minutes.
Yeah, okay, so let's go to the fight. It's gonna start soon anyway, but I think a big thing that right before this fight started, Zen was able to complete his Hurricane, which is a really big item for Kog'Maw, right?
Yeah.
So first things first, they commit onto Expect. He gets Black Shielded, so there's not really much going on here. Let's just watch it go on. In fact, let's actually go to speed of 0.75 because I really do want to watch this fight slow motion. Okay.
7.5.
0.75. Yeah. So they're doing the Baron. Expect is running up the river. He will TP now, and I think once Shogat TPs, they know they can't do this Baron anymore. They gotta be like, shit, boys, we gotta get out. I guess Trick wants to do the Baron, and Sven is hitting the Baron with his W. Expect gets engaged on. Trick engages here. Now watch Trick, okay? Just look at how much damage Trick actually takes from here. Fight is over. Their jungler is dead. I think Misfits just need to take this and get the fuck out.
Yeah, I agree.
They overchase like hell. And also look,
Look at Sven, yeah.
they're backing off, but Ignar lands a 2-man pulverize on Expect and Morgana. This is a free ultimate, but look at the split focus. Misfits, the backline is going for Sven, for perks, and the rest are just getting free damage by Sven. Sven is hitting for free.
The shockwave was really bad.
Yeah, it got flashed. So this ultimate was useless.
It's really bad.
Meanwhile, they have no CC now.
Now look at this.
And yeah, Sven just gets to hit for...
He has a full stack Genzo. Holy shitting hell. Yeah. He actually 1v9'd.
They even only get one kill. And
this is a Sven show from this point. He has his items, he has his Morgana with Ardent. It's a Sven show.
Let's go back to 2 times. But yeah, and they will just kill Ignar. They'll just kill Ignar on the side. Actually, Ignar actually gets out. It's hilarious. No, he dies.
I'm on 2 times now.
Yeah, he dies. Ignar dies here. Nice, Smithy's a fucking beast, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Sven just machine guns.
Sven is really, really good on Kog'Maw.
Yeah, he's really good. They have Feast up, so I mean this is a free Baron.
Cho is not there yet though.
Yeah, so I guess they're just waiting.
Oh, they're just gonna wait it out, yeah. And they maybe look for a fight here.
Power of Evil, I guess he got casked in, right?
Oh wow, they actually got it. I don't know, Maxlow positioned himself really bad there.
No, not even that. Power of Evil just got Gragas ulted in, he like walked up too far. And he died
also,
there.
That's true, yeah. But Maxlow should have been in position to steal, he was not.
I think it's just over now, no? Like...
Yeah, I mean, Kog'Maw is too strong, man. Like, these 3 items, like, Misfits had all the time in the world to win this game, but they really fucked up. They don't know how to play around Nash. Like, that's what they should look to improve for Worlds.
Hansama gets a kill. Maybe it's enough to get IE, and like I still think that Misfits can win. Like a good shockwave into like 1 or 2 Draven autos.
I don't think so.
It's not gonna be easy, but they can.
Whoever is the shot caller of Misfits really messed up around the Nash, because they started Nash way too early, many times, where they were spotted by blue ops and they lost all their vision control for that.
Actually, that's also why they lost that one game against Fnatic. They had like the triple tank with Xayah comp. All they need to do is like scale to late game, and they like did Nash and died, like got aced by Fnatic.
Yeah.
So this is actually a common problem with Misfits.
Yeah, their shot calling is not that good, I think, in the late game.
I want to see Power of Evil here. Holy trick! He casked Power of Evil right into the middle of his team.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah. But this Kog'Maw is doing way too much.
He has Blade now too. Yeah, unlucky. Here we go, really, Melt.
Look at this Kog'Maw.
Yeah. Nice damage. Perks 2 is like doing really good in these team fights. He's like sitting on the outside and then coming in when people are like trying to turn onto Cog or away from Cog. And I love Coglution. I think it's a really strong combination of champions. And I think it's actually, in my opinion, it's actually G2's best composition. Like this is G2's best composition. If they get like Coglution, I think they can win so many games.
I mean, but they should maybe like stop drafting so weak early team comps though. Like when Worlds arrives, they are not gonna get away with these team comps. By the way, versus Korean teams, they're gonna get absolutely slaughtered in the early game. I'm pretty sure.
You think that G2 is a good early game team?
I don't know. It depends on Perks. Like I feel like both games we watched, Perks didn't perform that well in the early game. I really feel like he did many mistakes. So if he improves his early game decision making and laning and overall everything, then I think they should be fine for Worlds. Yeah.
I think the thing is that as well, G2 have not made it like a secret that their coaching philosophy, at least from Weldon, is that the early game is not important because games are not won in the early game. They're won in the mid and late game. So we've seen like a shift of G2 be really focused on this late game centric type of play.
Definitely.
I'm concerned that that some of the good early game teams, specifically Longzhu, I feel like Longzhu would completely smash G2 in the early.
Yeah, I think so.
And the thing about Longzhu is that they're also the best team at closing out early leads, and they've proved it. They did it against SKT like 3 games in a row, that they closed out an early lead. Oh,
I mean,
not in a row, but like
did this team comp from G2 had like needs the enemy to do mistakes, so you outscale them, you know? If the enemy actually plays a clean Nash dance and gets the Nash, you will actually lose the game. But this is such a coin flip team comp. Like, if the enemy does mistakes, like Misfits did, like million mistakes, then the Kog'Maw is gonna get his items and kill everyone. But yeah, it's not gonna work with Korean teams, as you said. Yeah.
assuming that the group draw goes good for them, how do you think G2 will do at Worlds?
I'm really sure they're gonna get out of groups with the way they're playing right now. I mean, I sound like so negative about them. I feel like they're a really good team right now, but I feel if they want to win Worlds, then they need to change up some things in the early game, you know, and the drafting. But generally, I think they're gonna get out of groups, but I don't know how much further they will get.
And what about Misfits? Assuming that they get a decent group, you think they have a chance to get out of groups as well?
I think they're gonna be eliminated in groups.
Okay.
I don't see it happening.
So my reasoning is that Misfits, between the end of the split and when they started playoffs, improved a lot. They fixed a lot of stuff. They adapted to the patch well. Some would say, yeah, the patch fits them, but I think they improved a lot. I think that I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they can make big improvements in the time that they're given to bootcamp for Worlds. You know?
That's true.
So
It's
assuming that
one patch. So
yeah, assuming that Misfits has a good improvement like they showed that they had before, I think they actually have a good shot to get out of groups. The only thing that I'm concerned for them is that they're seed 2 from Europe, which means that they can get Longzhu in their group,
Oh yeah.
which is scary.
I mean, the thing is, in Worlds, there's only one patch to prepare for, and you have one whole month to prepare for it, and you go to Korea, and you can steal a lot of ideas from other teams in scrims. So it will really depend on who works the hardest, who prepares the best, who has the most cheese picks ready for the best of one. So maybe Misfits can do it, you know, but I don't think they will. But we will see, you know.
All right, last question. Who's going to make it to Worlds?
Who's gonna make it to Worlds? It will be a final between Fnatic and Splice, and I really cannot predict who's gonna win that. So yeah, it's either Splice or Fnatic. I feel like it's gonna be Fnatic, but Splice is really good on this patch. I feel like so it's gonna be really interesting.
Splice really played well in that match against G2.
Yeah.
And like the only reason they lost is because Mithy went God mode in that last fight in Zone Senkooks. Like the Orianna could do nothing. You don't have any faith at all in H2K?
No, I have no faith. I don't think that Koreans can handle the pressure of a gauntlet. Like they already couldn't handle the pressure in playoffs, so I don't think they will handle it well in the gauntlet either. And Junkos tends to choke really hard in matches that really matter, so I don't think they're gonna make it.
Personally, I think that UOL is the only team that I'm like sure won't make it to Worlds. I don't think they're good on this patch. I think UOL were good and they looked super good a lot of the time, but it's not their style right now. It's hard to pull off their style, I think.
But I think they're the dark horse of this gauntlet because I've heard from many players that Exile actually has fixed his champion pool issue. He's playing the meta now, and this means that they're gonna be a much better team because Exile, if he stops inting, then the team is actually fine, you know. Okay. So for me, it depends a lot on how Exile is gonna perform, and they might actually surprise some people.
So let's just go through the teams. I'm sorry I keep asking, but this is actually really interesting. Let's just go through the teams. What do you think is like, what do Splice need to do to make sure they win?
I don't know, like get a good draft, like good scaling comp. Maybe get Wunder on Nar, get Trashy on a scaling tank, Gragas or Sejuani. Put Cobber on a high damage ADC like What is he good on? Shire.
Zaya, Sivir, Tristana, Kog'Maw.
Yeah, Tristana. Yeah, he's good on all the meta champs. So, and I feel like Cobber is a great ADC, and this patch is really like ADC focused. So, I think they just need to scale it up to mid game, and then they should win. They have really good coordination as well. They play for a long time together now. So.
Okay, what do you think Fnatic needs to do to make sure they win? Like, what mistakes do they need to fix, or what do they need to make sure happens for them to win, to make Worlds?
Just fix the drafting issues they had against Misfits. If they get good drafts on this patch, I feel they have a really strong like overall team. They have really good laners. They usually get ahead in the laning phase and then set up objectives really well in the mid game. So I think if they fix their draft issues, they are gonna beat everyone.
I think the main thing that Fnatic need to do is Broxa on an early game jungler that he can pressure with, Soaz on a tank that he can engage on, because he's insane on engage, and Reckless on a high damage carry. That's all they need to do. I think, and Fnatic have a really good shot. What do H2K need to do to win? I know you don't think they can, but what do you think, looking at them, do they need to do to win?
It must be like the Odoam Phoebe Van Jankos show, you know, like just take over completely topside, snowball on early lead. This is what Jankos is known for, like getting early leads, snowballing really hard. So if they can maybe get Jankos on champs like Elise, Rek'Sai, Jarvan, maybe they have a shot of snowballing games. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to predict this gauntlet, man. Like every single team is actually good, so it will be quite intense.
And Yoel, you think that as long as Exile doesn't int, you think they have a good shot?
Yeah, as long as he plays a normal character, not fucking Talon or Vladimir, a meta champion, he doesn't enter too quickly. I think they are pretty good in team fights. Like Hylissang and Vizicachi are great players. So
Samux too. Samux, like in my opinion, I think Samux is super underrated, and I think that he can play Twitch. If he can get Twitch and like they play like Xayah Rakan or Twitch, I think Samux can show up. But the thing is that their mid laner, they just didn't have one. And as long as Exile, like I really want to see Exile play like Orianna. Like I have a feeling that he could be a really good Orianna, and I know it's kind of weird, but if he can just play a decent to good Orianna, UL actually could win, and they could do something.
Yeah, maybe. We will see if he fixes issues.
Alright, that's going to be it for the show. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, God Gilius, for blessing the peasants with some analysis. There will be a VOD uploaded not right now. It will take a couple of hours, and I'll put that on YouTube. So you can follow my Twitter. Gilius's Twitter is over there, at JuliusLaw. Follow him on Twitter and support him. Congratulations. I really look forward to seeing you play in the LCS next split.
Thanks,
it should be interesting, and that's it. Thanks for coming, guys, and we'll see you next time. The next episode will be NALCS Finals with Dardoch as my guest, which should be really spicy because Immortals was his old team. So we'll see how that goes. Have a good night, everyone. Peace out. I had 100 at some point.